Yeah, look, I just have a quick question I wanted to dig into. There's been a lot of talk about glide paths and, Commbank's commitment to 1.5 degrees. Pardon me. And so I guess I have a question checking about of what seems to me like a fairly significant gap, which is why I think this issue is still so controversial, as we can see at this AGM. So, as part of the 1.5 degree scenarios, according to the climate scientists, according to the International Energy Agency, you have to reduce exposure in line with the scenarios, but you also are not, there's no space in the carbon budget for any new fossil fuel projects. So that's been made exceptionally clear by the International Energy Agency. No new oil and gas production, no new coal mines. So it seems to me the glide paths is only one part of this alignment with 1.5 degrees and net zero. Sorry, I'm just been wearing a mask all morning.
I'm sure we can get you some water. It's on its way.
I just wanted to check. So say, for example, CBA loans to a company building a new coal mine or a new gas field, right? The company uses that money to build that coal mine, to build the gas field, and then that infrastructure is operating for decades. But Commbank reduces its exposure to that company, within the range of your glide paths and targets. And then so the gas field continues to operate, but it's off your books and therefore not part of the glide paths. Is that a correct interpretation of how that would work?
Mr. Brait, it's very good to have this conversation. I had it with your colleague Julian just 2 weeks ago, and we had exactly the same conversation. There is a starting point, and we've all started on the journey. We're committing to our glide paths, and we have to make sure that we transition our lending to achieve those glide paths. That's the way we're thinking about it, and that's the commitment we're making. So that's exactly the conversation I had with Julian when I met with him, and so I'll share exactly that same answer with you.
But then why commit to 1.5 degrees if your policies undermine 1.5 degree scenarios by supporting new fossil fuel projects? Why not just be honest then and say we're not aligned, but maybe we will be one day?
I think we have a different interpretation of how to get there, and scenarios are really important. Even getting to 1.5, and we've been very clear about that, is there are many scenarios, but the independent experts say it's still incredibly difficult. We're being very clear about the fact that it is very difficult for the world to get to 1.5. CBA is looking at those scenarios. It will be science-led as to how we get there. We're using CSIRO as the experts to help us, and we're engaging with our customers, and we'll continue to do that. We must continue on the journey, and it's not going to be easy. And we're being very clear about the fact it's not going to be easy. That's the answer that we're kind of providing. And in 12 months' time, there will be further disclosure in our climate report, and I'm sure we'll be chatting with yourself and Julian again as to the progress we're making. And I think that's the important time to have that follow-up conversation.
Yeah, but in 12 months' time, you could have locked in emissions from gas fields and coal mines for another 50 years.
We have to be accountable to the questions that you're asking and those challenges, and we will be. And I think in terms of 2 questions per person, if I may, and we will be coming back to you, I know.
Sure.
Thank you very much for engaging.
Thank you.